have some amazing operators here today who are going to tell you a little bit about their work and give you some advice and best practices. And we have a question from Alphonse.
Hi, I don't know how to send a message. That's why I raised my hand. I have two questions.
Perfect.
First, how do you prepare for the shot? Do you need to coordinate with the director or DOP before going to the day of shooting? And what is the preparation needs to be ready on set before you go to film the filming day?
No, I don't do any. I mean, for me personally, I don't have that much talk exactly what the director or DOP wants or needs. They usually want me, and I know them, so we have a synergy. I mean, what we're gonna accomplish. And on set, since with the Trinity is so flexible, I don't see any like exactly what. I mean, everything is already done, so to speak. You got the camera, you got the lenses, maybe you shift lenses, but that would be it. And then you talk with the DOP what he likes. Okay, we're gonna go, we're gonna follow, we're gonna stand here, we're gonna go up or down. And that's quite flexible on set.
What if there is a complicated shot? Do you have time to practice on set for this shot, or it's not allowed to do this on set?
It depends. I mean, usually I would say when there are like one takes, you always need to prepare in so many ways. I mean, what the shot is, what the key points are, stuff like that. But more normal shots in commercial, I mean, they're quite short. I mean, in our world and my world, there are like 3-5 seconds takes, you know, that you need to have. So it's like 1, 2, and then, you know, then there's a new story. So you don't need so much time, and it's something that you can do over and over again during time that you're taking the shots, I would say.
Thank you.
I think honestly, Alfonso, a director and DP have to accept rehearsal if they want you to do a very complex shot. They cannot expect that you run this shot like a news cameraman. You know, you want to make it a piece of art. So I think everyone, the actors, the operator, the sound guys need a time to rehearsal. You should not rush this because the product may be not that way it's expected, I think.
Yeah.
Right, or I'm wrong, or it does no one rehearsal anymore. Well, even we did rehearsal too much in the old days. Yeah, we always called it cold rehearsal or hot rehearsal. It was just rolling the camera ready, just to make sure whatever happens, we have it.
Yeah. No, I definitely.
Okay, are we ready to see some? Oh, I'm sorry, Svetlana, go ahead.
No, I was going to top up. I think it is quite important to remember with Trinity, it is a specialized piece of equipment. And I know it gives us the freedom, but at the same time, we have to help ourselves by giving the right questions. Like really the first question you would do even before you turn up is, what camera are we using? Because you have to prepare to have your either right plates or even figuring out what you need extra for it. So I think it's right to make sure there's never too many questions. Obviously, you might not get access to the people to ask all the questions ahead. So be free, like you say, Nestor, be free. And, you know, through experience, you'll probably manage to do lots of things, but there's never too many questions ahead. And
No.
and rehearsals are important, but yes, sometimes you don't necessarily get them.
And we have a quick question from Mohammed as well. You can unmute yourself, Mohammed, if you want to ask. If you're having technical issues, Mohammed, you can also just send it in the chat. Okay. Maybe it'll work in a little bit. I'm going to share my screen again so that we can look at some of Nestor's videos. Second. All right. Nestor, which one should I open? Which one
You
do you
can
think?
choose the Absolut, because that was one of my first when we started moving Trinity a little bit more, Trinity modes.
I like
Yeah.
the concept to produce super straight pictures for alcohol. And
Yeah.
I wish they should ask it to be a bit more like this, maybe in the end.
Yeah. No, they wanted a lot of party there, a lot of kids having the enjoyment. But I mean, this was one of my first work when they asked for the Trinity specifically, when they wanted to go from low mode to high mode, and they wanted to go, I mean, and sometimes we come from above, sometimes we come from below. And I mean, I think 99% of the commercial is done on Trinity. I think there's only one pack shot when we move with the cart, that's the camera is fixed. The rest of it is on the Trinity. And I mean, quite flexible. I mean, do we have these stages with people on it, and the director knew what he wanted, and the DOP and knew a little bit about the Trinity, so it was easy to work, to find the frames, and I mean to find the momentum in the movie. Yeah, practically everything. This one is not Trinity, but the rest of it is Trinity. So we're moving in different, I mean, aspects. Sometimes we move as a Steadicam, just following them, and sometimes we're going from down to top, or from top to down. And I think we have a little push also in one of the frames when we're just pushing really slow towards it, towards the brand.
Do you want me to look at to open up another video?
Yeah, if you can, I mean, you can show the one after that. That's behind the scenes, and you can just see how we moved a little bit with the cameras. You see quite a lot of different movements. So this one's going from down to top, from top to down, moving over the table. A little bit more rough movement when we're going fast. Here we're just following. Here's a little push. Also traveling up and just going around in circles.
It's impressive to see, like, this one scene, how close and controlled you get to this to the actors. It's crazy.
I mean, in this kind of scenes, I mean, you of course talk to them. I mean, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna push forward, so you're gonna push forward with your face. Just mind the camera, you know. And I know the range, how far I can go. And, I mean, in those kind of scenes, you speak with the persons around you, of course. I mean, you have to have a little bit of synergy between you, you know. And it always works better when the actor is feeling you, like you're the third person, like always trying to follow them, or that's when it usually works best.
Nice. So far, no further questions from the group. Nestor, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to hand over to Torben now.
Oh,
He might surprise.
I'm just standing here and listening to all what is.
You also sent a video about balancing it and some really nice pictures of the different sets you had the Trinity on. But
Yes.
yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes. Well, yeah, and of course I'm happy to be here as well, and thank you for inviting. I think, yeah, now like the other guys have been talking about all the excellent stuff you can do with the Trinity, and I'm being one of, I guess, the old guys. I had it for 6 years, got us in beginning of March 17, and that was obviously the Trinity 1, and then swapped to the 2. But I would say for me, the story is the same. Like you got the Steadicam, I've been operating Steadicam for the last about 20 years, and then you were looking for something to expand the way of like with the Steadicam. You're like, you're kind of, yeah, like Nestor said as well, that this is, you can't really get further than that. And then looking for something different. And then the Trinity was there, and I was like, okay. And it was actually, yeah, Curt made a demonstration here in Copenhagen for me and Anders Holt, the other guy in Denmark who got the Trinity 2 now. And I was watching, we had this demo on a Friday, and I was like, yes, this is what I've been looking for. And then I think, as far as I remember, I put the order on a Monday afterwards. And then eventually I got it, the first week of March, and I started on a Monday. I picked it up in Munich together with Curt, and he took the picture of the very happy first Scandinavian Trinity operator, yes. And it was just, it was quite an experience, because then actually 1 week later, I just started following 10-week job on a TV series, and we shot with the Trinity every day. We just mounted the camera in the morning. We had 2 cameras though, but put it on. So for 10 weeks, I was just like learning every day, because the thing was that when I picked it up, Curt gave me a quick introduction. That was like I don't know, Curt, you remember, maybe half an hour introduction or something. Anyway, I just realized that was definitely the right kind of tool. And for me, it was the same again, like it's been said before, that you could be low, you could be in the middle, and you can be up. And another important thing is that actually with the Trinity, you can do some DOPs, they like to be maybe a little bit in a low mode, but in a low angle, like looking up. And with the tilt, you can just put it in exactly the same angle for any shot you're doing. Instead of with the Steadicam, you have to kind of do it in the post, and it's not going to be exactly the same, but maybe it is. Or you can get the top stage where you can like angle the camera, but then again, then you need to do a wide shot or something where you don't need to be down, and then it's kind of complicated with the regular Steadicam, that then you are having, if you have this top where you can change the angle of the camera, then it's kind of, then it's not like you want it to be. And for me, it's just all the options that the Trinity give me more. Maybe if you can put the picture, Sasha, with from Iceland, the one on the sled, you can put it up. This is this is from, we did a film last, was that 2 years ago in Iceland, and we are like every day on the glacier, and we're doing a lot of with the sleds, and I was sitting behind the sleds. And the thing is, like here, it's just, I'm kind of going ready for the shot. But the thing is that I could put the camera very close to the ground, and if I would have been sitting there with a regular Steadicam, I don't know where to put my legs, to be honest. I mean, even if you put a regular Steadicam in low mode, it would have been very difficult, because kind of in the way you could sit, and you're going, it was just with the Trinity, I could go down and I could get up on the faces. I could start very low and come up. And again, I mean, this whole kind of jib arm that you can do, that is just very efficient. And maybe if you can put the India, the Segway, exactly. That was on another, whoops, that was a camera. Well, anyway, in India, I was in another film where it was like a film about some soccer teams, blah, blah, blah. So I was with the Segway and the Trinity, I could gain speed, and I could be high or I could be low, and I could be on the field between the players without any, because they had like a small truck as well with a jib arm, and they could ride along the sides. But actually, after, I think I was there after 2 days or so, they just parked the truck outside the set. I mean, because we are just shooting everything with the Steadicam and the Segway, the Trinity. And the thing is that, again, like you can do this with a regular Steadicam, just put it in low mode. But the problem is when you are having a shot where you're getting off the segue and you want to continue in eye level, that's not possible when you're having, of course, when you're having a Steadicam in low mode. And then if you want to do this getting off and you don't have the Steadicam in low mode, then you will get the problem with the bottom of the Steadicam hitting the wheels on the Steadicam. So you're kind of a little bit up higher than eye level because you're at like these 30 centimeters above the ground because of the segue. So that's another thing about the Trinity, that you can just keep exactly the same level even though you're getting off and on the segue, and you can start the movement, and it's just it gives you a lot of flexibility. And yes, again, if you can put the camel, you just went there with the camel, yeah. The DP/director was asking for like a top shot of a girl on some rollerblades, and we were like looking around, how do we get up high? This is from Morocco, and then we were like, there's a guy with this camel, and we were like, yes, I mean, if we get this fairly high to sit on a camel, and again, you would not have been able to do this with a regular Steadicam, because where would you put it? I mean, I'm sitting down, but then again, I could be like, well, not very low, obviously, I'm on the top of a camel, but I could start fairly low, and I could kind of jib up, and we got this perfect top shot of the girl on the rollerblades. So problem solved. And it's just, I don't know, for me, I'm like kind of really trying to dig into this, to the Trinity, and that is, I don't know how to explain. I mean, maybe you can put this, the video is just to, I have the my Zen mode video. It's kind of, it's just a video. It's just for the other day I was on set, and then just to show you that if you put the weights and everything, and you can really have the Trinity, if you have it, I mean, in balance, it's kind of, for me, it's difficult to explain. Well, I'm very happily married, but luckily my wife is not here, because actually this is my, I mean, this is just my biggest love in a way. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, but it's just, I mean, I'm just trying to say that it gives you a lot of options. You just have to kind of dig into it. And I just want to show with this that if you get it all in balance, and I'm like, of course you can, this is why I have it hanging here. It's just, you can adjust side by side and all this stuff. I mean, you do that with the Trinity 1. That's just to make it all fair. That with the Trinity 1, it's because you don't do the 360 roll, you don't need to have it, well, yes, you still want to have it balanced, but it's not the biggest deal if you do like some side to side. But for me, and this is different from operators to operators, for me, I'm trying to actually level it all out by the weight. And as you can tell, even I have some sitting, just some 25 gram weights, just with I still have the marks on it, because what I do is as you can tell, I put weights here as well. And of course, this is for the LF actually. This works pretty good with the LF and the signature primes. But anyway, a lot of times I also put weights on the cage on the camera, and that's why I have the labels on them, so I remember to bring them with me again. But that's because sometimes, as on the video, maybe you could tell, but if the cables are too short for the motors, because it's just very little that you have to move it actually to make it just in this proper Zen mode of balance. And then, but if it's not possible for you to move the motors further or whatsoever, then just the 25 grams weights will do the job as well. And then regarding the weights as well, another thing is that actually with the Trinity 2, it's really nice that you have this lock mode. So when you mount the camera, of course, but actually it's not, for me, it's not just for using when mounting the camera. It's more for if you want to go, yeah, we are having this in the beginning for the Omega AR mode actually, because the thing is that if you just switch off the tilt motors, and then now you have it as an AR, and you can like this, and it'll stay. You can be up, low, you can get sideways, and we're talking about in the beginning. This is just to demonstrate how easy it actually is. And then, I mean, yes, and of course, again, it's just in balance, and I've just put weights, and it's, I don't know how to explain, and maybe you can feel it, but it's just, I mean, what I'm saying is just that this is just, yeah, I mean, I'm very happy when I'm getting on a set every day, and it's like Nestor says, I mean, you can just, for me, it was the same thing. I mean, this is, I just want to move around. I don't want to stick to just these like normal shots and just follow this. You want to follow them down to the car, and you want to tell the DP, well, I can get this way around, and then I come and put them in, and you don't need to do an edit, and I'm going to do the editing for you in a way. And it's just, I mean, yeah, I'm getting all like goosebumps because I'm just, I mean, like I was on a Finnish movie just before Christmas. I was there for two months or so, yeah, 2.5. Anyway, I've been shooting with the DP before. I did another movie together with him on Steadicam before I got the Trinity, and then and we shot like 80% with the Steadicam on that movie, and then I've been on another one with the Trinity 1. It was like a 3D movie, so I had 2 red cameras and la la la. Anyway, then I went on this with the Trinity 1 as well, and haven't met the director before. And the director is like, well, we are probably going to be shooting like 80% with the Trinity just to be prepared, and because then maybe you want to dock a little bit more often than you usually do because you're going to be the whole day and la la la. Anyway, end of the day, the director comes to me and he goes like, this is an amazing tool. We are going to be shooting 98% of and I was like, okay, well, all right. And this is the first day. I can tell you, end of the shooting, we have been shooting like 99.5% in the Trinity, because the only shot that didn't do with the Trinity was because we have like a fixed camera mount on the back of a pickup truck, and they had a crane shot, and that was it. Everything else was with the Trinity. And the reason is that when you understand, even like some shots that you could have been, well, you could do it with the Steadicam as well, but then again, you have some low mode shots, you have some high modes, and I know with the regular Steadicam now, you just have an extra monitor and you can flip it around, but you still have this area where you cannot shoot with the Steadicam in. I mean, you can cover if you're in low mode or if you're in high mode. So it's with the Trinity, you can cover any space. And again, I could do the editing for the director, because you follow the people in and they're sitting down on a couch. You can push across the table and you can get into this close-up that he wants. The table is not in your way like it would have been on a regular Steadicam, because you cannot move the regular Steadicam that much away from your body. And then, of course, what to say? Yes, it's a little bit heavier with the Trinity, because, of course, maybe it's not heavier like if you put it on a weight on a scale, but the thing is that you're moving the mass away from your body, so of course it's more out here and blah blah. But then again, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, there's a lot of people that's like worried about that it's going to be heavy, and yes, the Venice with anamorphic lenses, fairly heavy to put it out there. I'll agree, but then again, it's not impossible, and you just. That's my point. If you know that you're going to be shooting all day, then instead of being the tough guy who can just stand with the rig and then just dog it so you can use the energy for the shot instead of wasting by just, because a lot of times when they're standing and talking, they don't really know what they want to do. And then it's just easier for me actually to put it on and show them quickly. We can do like this and blah, blah, blah. And then it goes like, oh yeah, that's easy. That's simple. And yeah, we just do it like that. So
I think you made everybody feel zen and balanced, and Carsten says he listening to you, he wants to buy another one, so you should start in our sales team, I think. Curt has a question, and then I'd also like to make sure that Svetlana can tell us a little bit about her work, but first Curt, and then let's go to Svetlana.
I just want to pick up what Torben says, because this was also kind of a reason I designed the rig, because also I, as a Steadicam operator, always try to read the book and offer the director that I can take 3 sequences and make it 1. And in the end, the producer loved this most because he saved so much time a day, and we can shoot way faster because there is no edit anymore. That's the good thing. So he saves time 2 times, and money 2 times on the set and in the edit, as long as the actors are good enough, because this is what I learned. You can help the storytelling to get nicer and even faster, but if the actors don't have a good timing, then even on Trinity it could be tricky after a while. But anyway, I think this is a really a good way to inspire the producer and the director, that you're able to merge and stitch sequences into one instead of cut, change camera position, pick up another over shoulder. We just make it in one flow, as simple as it is. Anyway, Svetlana, it's your turn.
Thank you. Hello everyone, Svetlana
My chat isn't working.
Oh, okay, Svetlana, sorry, real quick. I think Mohammed, is it you? Or who's talking?
Okay, now.
Yeah, it's me.
Ah, then you can ask your questions. Real quick, Svetlana, sorry. What's your question, Mohammed?
Okay, thank you. My question is about the batteries and voltage for Trinity 2. Here in Egypt, the most popular batteries are 12 volts batteries. And I know from my experience with Trinity 1, it drains really quickly. So which battery do you expertise prefer in using Trinity 2? And which company or brand that you are prefer?
Well, of course, hello, Mohammed. First, of course, we cannot push brands in this kind of a call. But technically, the big difference between Trinity 1 and Trinity 2 is we have a real power management. That means every modern battery, which is providing battery data, we can read out and optimize the use of the batteries. So technically, with the Trinity, you are always good if you have 2 times the 150 watt batteries. This is a pretty good start, because because of the way we manage batteries now, we can get way longer runtime out of the batteries than others. Of course, as you see, we're promoting B mount out of a very simple reason, not because it's got a 24 volt. The other thing I personally like about the B mount concept is the battery got thick pins. That means the pins already ensure you get up to 10 amps out of the battery into the system. Plus the mount, the mechanically mount, is much stiffer. The guidance is better. There's less vibrations. Because I think you're using V-mount batteries. And I think a very simple thing to do to improve runtime is you make sure that the batteries are sitting very snug in the mount. Because even the moment the batteries have slight vibration and slight air, the contacts of the pin may not be optimal anymore. And already this will reduce runtime. So what you can do is to improve even your available 150 watt batteries, put some tape on the mount to make sure when you put in the battery, it's not moving at all anymore. First of all, you have less vibration in the Trinity. Second, you have better electric contact, and this, especially in Trinity 2, will for sure extend your runtime. Because the battery hanger is anyway producing 24 volt by upconverting, which is also a big difference. In the Trinity 1, we really mechanically or electrically just connected 2 batteries together, being unable to really understand the status of the batteries. In the Trinity 2, we measure the batteries, bring them to an equal level, and from this level on, we upconverting the power, which also gives you a constant 24 volt power to the camera, which also makes the camera more happy to have constant power at the end. So what I want to say is you don't need to carry around bigger batteries. Like, you can really get a lot out of 150 watts in the end.
So I have a second question. Sorry. You hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we
yeah.
can hear you.
Yeah.
I'm just old.
Sorry. About I have a request for a YouTube channel for Ari. So I am request a new Trinity 2. So I'm waiting for the Trinity 2 now. So it's my first time to have a Trinity, and it's difficult here in Egypt to practice with someone in Trinity 1 or any Trinity operator. It's difficult. So I am searching on YouTube and Facebook. Do anyone have like a tutorial or like that? So if you have any course online for Trinity 2, it will be good. And
You
second, sorry.
You can check our ARI Academy website.
Yeah.
There's online classes for Trinity, and you can also pre-register for upcoming workshops.
Yeah, but okay, it's difficult to travel to Europe, so
Okay.
So you
try.
don't have
They're
to.
gonna be
You don't
different
have to.
places.
There are different places. We have also a very good teacher right in Dubai, so
Yeah,
we
I
can
know. I
even
know
manage.
Paris, so I
We-
can't catch the course in Dubai. Yeah, I know from 1 month or 2 months ago, Paris make a course for Trinity 2. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, look. In the moment you go to the ARI Academy, and you're going to contact the people, they will contact you even to like Igor Savatovic in Dubai, and we can also do a one-on-one workshop with you. So this could also be managed very flexible, because one thing we want you is to learn from a real teacher, the real stuff, from the real experienced guys. And I think the nicest thing is to do it live, talking to someone, learn from his real experience. So just contact ARI Academy and they will find a way to connect you, let's say, to Igor in Dubai or other good operators in the region. Okay?
Okay, so the last one
and you get access to all the videos. And you also want to talk about the brackets? Yeah.
Yeah. Top point. So I see someone on YouTube. He buys one, and he don't know. I asked them, so he don't know what can we do with this top point.
But I think there's two brackets side by side, and you see the left bracket on the left side from the top point. This is for Trinity the better choice. The one at the left. Go to the left. Yeah, this one. Tab 1. Because that's very simple to use. This is holding the camera right at the front, where you also mount the motors on the 50mm rods. So this is a bracket which holds the camera from top, and then the bracket is mounted to the upper part of the ring, and that makes sure that the camera inside the Trinity is absolutely stable. While the other bracket you showed before is a bit more for the remote head on the Trinity, of course, but we prefer the Tab 1 because this is faster to set up, it's easier to handle, and it provides a stiffer and more rigid position of the camera inside the ring, and takes less space, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
But again, Mohammed, this is a lot of. Yeah, it's also fully symmetric, by the way. Thank you, Leon. Good point. And exactly, this is the points where it really makes sense to contact the Academy, because this is all this kind of super techy information you can't find, I think, on a video. It's better to talk to an operator. He have this like this available for you. But let's be friendly. Svetlana is waiting. We are waiting for her. Because don't forget, gentlemen, Svetlana was the very first female Trinity operator ever. And we should also, I'm really proud about this because it's a brave move into this world to start Trinity. I really appreciate it, by the way.
Thank you. I'm Svetlana. My background is in dramas. And I think when we start talking about Trinity generally, you think of a very specialized equipment for specific, you know, funky things, and especially now with the Trinity 2. So I was a Steadicam operator already, maybe not a very long running one. I think it was maybe 3-4 years. I was already doing Steadicam, and it caught my eye in its infancy, quite at the beginning, something like 2017. And then slowly kind of was thinking about it, it wasn't really a popular thing to be asked for in a set of dramas or films. So everyone obviously debated about it and was excited, but not many people were having it around. So I'm based in UK. So I think I've tried it at that point. I was thinking about it, and I think during the lockdown, kind of thought about it. There's definitely something about it. And obviously it's a quite different tool, and especially if it wasn't that popular at that point yet, lots of us would be hesitant to start with. So I kind of decided to take it on board, and I like lots of toys. So for me, when I decide on using a tool, I work with the production. I don't necessarily say, oh, I've got this thing, so let's use it. Although I found after the lockdown, I've started using it more like a tool on my set for most of it, like we talked before, like a normal Steadicam almost. And what was interesting is, even from the beginning, because it takes you a while to figure out different situations, different tools you can add to try and achieve, you know, like we're talking about tall shots. And my use is primarily Trinity 1. So for the last 3 years, I think I've used it almost most of my productions. And the good thing about Trinity 1 is because it was so new, there's obviously were different things that were making you creative about it, to think how you can get across different situations. So I think one of my first things I did with the lovely DP Oliver Curtis, it was literally precede and follow someone running. So I went on a car mount, and I realized how easy it is. Suddenly you don't struggle, it's just there. I mean, the setup is quite different from Steadicam, but it's like suddenly clicked, oh, this tool is actually, yes, it might be a complex tool to get your head around it a little bit to start with, but using it was so much simpler. So throughout, I've done my favorites are cars. Actually, I love using it on the steps. So when we're talking about operating on the steps, we're either quite heavy on the top or underneath. But with the Trinity, I find you actually could be next to the character, and I'm it just feels much more natural to me as my feel to be with them. So I love doing steps with them. When we talk about Trinity, we also probably think, oh, it's a slightly bigger tool and you need this space. And it's true, it is made to be like a floating in the space in the spear mode. But actually, I found I even managed to use it in a train, in a small carriage, where we were quite restricted by it. And we were also trying to achieve 360 at that point, which with the Trinity 1, you know, there was a little bit of experimentation and innovation. But we managed to use it even then. So I've used it in following people through really small corridors. So I'd say from personal experience, I've managed to put it through spaces for the last 3 years. I've managed to, use it in a lot of different situations. When we weren't necessarily thinking it would be a Trinity, but I made sure I will use it and see what it can get up to. And I think there are not many times when I would have said, oh, maybe Steadicam is better at this point. So I've enjoyed it for sure. And I'm excited with the Trinity too, because obviously when you're a Steadicam op, it's you take it away. You do have the help of your grips, you know, for the safety and things, but actually it's you who's maneuvering with that shot. But I found, space is yours. You have to be self-reliant quite a lot. You're the one to design the shots as well, to be at the helm between the triangle of the creativity. I love that. But with the Trinity too, it's nice because it takes away so many extra little things, because we were always laughing, you need to get used to that. But actually with the Trinity 2, there's a little bit more, is it automation, would you say? It's you can preset things more intuitively. And I think, yeah, I'm enjoying that part more. But I still with Trinity 1.
And you mentioned the Steadicam, or we mentioned it a few times, and the differences. And Carsten had asked, in general, to all of you guys who are working on set with the Trinity, is there a scenario where you use the Trinity as a regular Steadicam?
So I think this was a good example. I think how I use it, I try and use it quite a lot. Obviously, I guess if I was in a really hot country and there was no very simple shot, I probably might have chosen Steadicam. But Trinity allows you to do those very organic shots where you could literally choose the best position within that space where you have to be. And that's what I love about it. I found, because I'm from a drama background, I found that on a very fast drama, so you have to plan maybe for it, because of needing to change from one mode to another, maybe, for example, get another body, but you might not get that luxury. So I think there's a little bit of planning in drama world, but generally speaking, I find you could fit it to be as your main tool. That's my personal opinion.
I think, Christopher,
I
you
think
wanted to add something?
No, after Curt.
I think Carsten is asking us about the follow mode, when I understand Carsten right. So the question of Carsten is, how would we use the Steadicam when you would use it fully locked like a Steadicam, but you're still operating the Trinity as a Trinity, but in follow mode? Not too often, right?
Yeah, for me, like because I'm a new operator for Trinity, so I still, like, there's 1 or 2 times where like I need to be more in feel what I'm doing with the shots. Especially I on the follow mode and I just treat it like a normal Steadicam. So that was interesting. I mean, it's just one time where I really need to like follow and like really feel the shots to be a bit more organic. So I do it on the follow.
In Trinity 1, I used it quite a bit, actually. Maybe not at the beginning, when you're trying to get your head around it, what it can do, but I used it quite a bit, and it's nice and natural still, rather than trying to say it's clumsy. Yes, I've used it quite a bit. I think on Trinity 2, that may be a little bit different, but on 1, yes.
Yeah, it's different on the 2. That's the reason different, because on the 2 you can also lock the roll, so you can also do a classic Steadicam Dutch, going really sideways. So the Trinity 2 gives you a bit more real Steadicam touch and feel if needed. Because on the Trinity 1, it was not possible to lock the roll axis. That means you technically had always a kind of a wave effect in a way.
That's why it was useful to be a Steadicam off a little bit.
Definitely.
Here you go.
I had one of my last jobs was a big one, about 2 minutes 30 seconds with the Trinity 2, and I use also in the rehearsals also the follow mode. I programmed the follow mode on one of my user buttons. So in the one I change my modes between the standard Trinity and follow mode. It's really helpful, especially the Trinity 2. So when I tilt down in normal follow mode, my roll still is locked, and that's really helpful and useful. It's worked really good.
Those are always fun when you have to change within the shot the different modes.
And then we have a question from Blake. I'll read it to you guys. I consistently get asked to do shots which either start or end with the camera pointing straight down. With the Trinity 1, I would switch between my Trinity mode and the Steadicam mode that fixed the roll position in the middle of shots. I would love to hear how others approach this very commonly asked for shot. Yeah, Curt, go ahead.
Yeah, because I understand his question very well. Because on the Trinity 1, if you did a top-down shot, it was impossible to walk sideways. Yeah. While the Trinity 2 does this automatically. That means in the moment Trinity 2 realized that you do a fully horizontal rig, camera's fully pointing down, we lock the roll axis for that in that special angle, which even will now allow you, let's say, to walk around in a staircase. And you could start as a, let's say, 90 or 180 degrees movement sideways. So this is the way we approach this, because Trinity 1, there was a clear limit to get this kind of a shot. In Trinity 1, this is super easy.
Blake, do you want to comment on that? Yeah, you just have to unmute yourself.
We still can't hear you, Blake. Blake, we can't hear you. Oh.
Maybe it's his headphones. Now you're.
There we go.
Oh, yes.
So I was just curious how adjustable that angle was. Like if there's any way to make that a wider range, where so then instead of having to have the post really flat, you could still have it cut the roll just based on the direction of the camera. I mean, does it know that the camera itself is vertical and that's what's doing it, or is it because of the sensors in the head are perpendicular to gravity?
It knows where it is by angle, but also on top you can arrange. Plus on top, there's also a manual way. There's a sub menu, follow mode, where you can control the roll and the tilt. So you can also adjust an angle. You can also adjust the ramp to make sure it's a kind of a very smooth engaged move if needed.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
So
cool. I haven't really. I'm gonna build the thing today, and I'm gonna be here for the second one of these, which I hope you're still here for. But anyway, I haven't really gotten into that yet with my Trinity 2. I just got it like a week ago. So,
okay.
Thank you. It's good to see all you guys. Hi, Leon.
Absolutely. See you later.
Yeah.
I can show you maybe some test footage, but I do exactly this with a top-down shot.
Yeah, people ask me for it constantly. It's sort of.
I can try to share something. It's okay, Saskia? Or?
Yeah, of course, please. And then we still have a question from Sanj, but let's do this one first.
So guys, you can see everybody?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So I cannot show everything that's not published in the moment. So, but you see the transition from high mode to low mode.
Yeah, that's lovely, Leon.
And now I'm going on a ramp, going horizontal with the whole post and going completely nearly 90 degrees top down. It's working really, really well. And you can go.
Which also means now you really use the post to control the camera position. So it's a very Steadicam-ish movement.
Nice. Well done.
So there.
Thank you, Leon.
Cool.
We have one more hand up from Sanj. Do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hey, hello guys. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. I'm new on the Trinity one. I'm learning my way through. What I really want to find out is I'm struggling with the tail effect or the snail effect. How have you guys managed to handle that? It's a really big challenge for me.
Training.
Training, yeah.
What best do you?
A lot of things of the snailing comes from the walking, because whatever you do ends up in the rig. That means it's better you improve your walking. It's better you check the height of the arm position on your vest. You should check your arm post if the arm post is willing to move easily. So the gimbals also can absorb a lot of side movements. What you also can look for is to make sure that the length of the camera is not too short. So try to make the camera quite long if possible, because this gives you inertia on the camera pan axis. And a little software tweak is you can go into the software and you lower the p-value of the roll as much as possible. So also to ensure that the roll axis is not overcompensating when you do a step, because every time you do a step, your hip is slightly rotating. That means technically the arm is shifting sideways and pushing into the rig. So the roll axis thinks, of course, oh, I have to do a counter movement. And this movement then goes down into the post and ending up in the pan axis. That means if we talk to the roll axis to not overcompensate, and if you talk to your hips to walk as smooth as possible, you will find the sweet spot. One day. Torben, you went through this too, right?
Oh yeah. I was just
Everyone does.
Yeah, I know that, and now I got the two and I was talking about the weights, but actually, to me, it has been working very fine. So I know that you can adjust, you can move the camera sideways in the ring, but actually, in my opinion, I'm just trying to keep it center, and then I put the motors and everything else to make it like so it's like where it's supposed to be. And the same with the rig. I know you can move your bottom sideways, but again, I try to keep it center and just try to keep everything center, and then I use the weights. I mean, 25 grams makes a difference. Where you put your iris or your focus motor, where you put it, you can move them around as a weight distribution as well. I mean, I put them on top, because putting them on top, then I can move them sideways to make it, and then you can just feel it, and there's nothing to it. I mean, actually, it's fairly simple. Yeah.
It's really
So
important
I haven't
center balance.
I haven't really had the snail effect, because it's just, I mean, I know, yeah, it's just, yeah. There's nothing.
Because again,
Alright.
everything, as simple as it is, to pick up Torben quickly, everything which is off center will pick up momentum and will produce inertia. And inertia will be seen in the end as a low frequency movement. Now, the other thing we did in a very nice class in the UK before the lockdown is we also, because also there was great operators, and they said, oh, I got the snailing. And I said, look, tomorrow you bring your Steadicam. And we put a laser pointer on, because even when you walk with a Steadicam, you got snailing. But you don't see it, because all the axes are breathing all the time. And only in the Trinity, suddenly you can see this, because tilt and roll is fully stabilized. But even a regular Steadicam, you have exactly the same, but you don't see it that much, because everything is moving in a way. So the right thing is really, as Torben says, and Leon, make your rig as neutral and centered as possible, improve your walk, double check the arm position on the vest, and make sure your arm post is loose and willing to compensate the mechanical movement inside your arm. And you will see the snailing is history after a week.
I understand this also with 21. When you do the same way on the 21 to try to keep the camera processes close in the middle of the ring, and do the side-to-side adjustment only with weights. It's also really helpful on the 21 to avoid the snailing effect. That I'm doing last week also with 21. So don't try to get the side-to-side balance with the side-to-side adjustment in your ring. So try to get the side-to-side with weights, and try to balance first the camera inside the ring, and then go to the balancing of the whole rig. That's for both ways, for 22 and 22. It's really cool and it works really good.
All right. I want to jump in real quick because we're already over time, but we had one more question in the chat that Carsten asked to all of the operators. I'm just going to ask Svetlana now to answer this. Carsten is asking how you can, how good can you monetize the additional costs compared to a normal Steadicam?
It's a discussion point, because obviously Trinity has its call, and lots of people know what it is, and they call you. Let's say in commercials, they'll say, we must have the Trinity, especially Trinity 2, they ask now. In dramas and films are getting more popular to ask for Trinity. In dramas, you have to have the discussion. So you have to, obviously you are you are the idea behind it as well. It's not just them saying, oh, we've got a running shot. You actually have to be a business person and you have to tell them, look, this is what I can offer you. Let's make it work. And a lot of them will say yes, yes, of course. Some of them will not know what it is and you'll have to explain, but that's a good thing to try and to keep telling to people what it is. One is you explaining to them, and two, actually, you might think of something on top of it. So yes, it's a discussion point, especially in dramas, but it does work.
You must be a good sales manager also for yourself.
Yes. It's a good practice for all of us to be confident to say, look, it is a price, but it's also an extra skill, and you are bringing something extra. And then all of us have said the freedom it gives you, and also will help the production as well, hopefully time-wise. Yeah.
And it's easier now because
real quick. So the at least in commercial, like I work in New York City, and mostly what I do is commercial work. And you know, a Steadicam, like sometimes we deal with celebrities and stuff in there. We have them for like 10 minutes. And a Steadicam, if you want it to be higher or lower, right, you have to do something. You have to adjust the arm, you have to adjust the post, something like that. Most of the producers, the first time they see that you can just, oh, we're going to get an insert over here real quick, or oh, we're going to just do a little push on her hands or on the shoes or on what, you know, whatever it is. Like for that sort of work, fashion and stuff, you save an unbelievable amount of time at work having a Trinity and that flexibility compared to like doing with regular Steadicam, and that time is extremely valuable. So I mean, I tend to try and sell it like that, like as a tool for maximizing the quality of the shots too. You know, you don't have to worry about the horizon being off. You don't have to worry about, you know, doing it more than once because of that. A lot of DPs like to have the headroom on a wheel, so I'll give them the controller and then they hold the headroom together, and they love that. So I think DPs just want something to do, you know. But
you must give them arguments, so that
yeah.
So they must have good arguments, and especially with the Trinity 2, you have more arguments and you have a more versatile tool that you can sell to the production. But you must talk with the production, and the production must understand what you can do with this. When you go in a shot with your whole setup and standing and waiting for instructions will not work. So you must also be able to talk with the DP and director. Hey, wait a minute, I have a Trinity 2 or Trinity. I can show you what you can do. Maybe it's tested a little bit better. And so
I'm excited for it to get more traction in narrative space now that you can do a lot of the stuff that you could only do with the AR rig before. I know for a fact that a lot of I know I got one too. It's in a box. It's over there. The AR was mandated on some productions. You know, like Paramount Pictures said your Steadicam operator has to have an AR head, which is like lunacy to me. But so, you know, they're asking for it and they're making us use this stuff and have these tools, and they're adding that much speed to the productions. It shouldn't be too hard for us to sell them on it. You know, you can say, like, so far all of the foundation has had a Trinity or an AR every day. And I took an AR rig out on Secession for a day. There's like Witcher season 2, that was all James. You know, he had his AR every day. So a lot of the big narrative shows are really leaning into this and starting to understand how flexible it makes the moments of these shots and stuff. So, anyway, some ammunition for you, Karsten.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We're already a bit over the time, but I wanted to say thank you again to Svetlana, Leon, Christopher, Nestor, Torben, and Curt, and all of you guys who joined us early, late, whenever during the day. Thanks a lot. And I just shared an email address in the chat in case you do still have some questions. Just send them over and we'll make sure that they get answered. Thank you very much and have a great rest of the day or night.
you guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.